If you've ever hit that point in a thriller, where a single sentence just detonates everything you thought was true, that feeling. That's what we're diving into today. Our source material is straight from the phenomenon that is Housemaid by Freida McFadden, a massive bestseller for a reason. And we're kicking off this deep dive right where the book does, actually, in the prologue. Picture this. A character, cool as you like, sitting on this incredibly fancy, burnt caramel Italian leather sofa, right next to Detective Connors. And upstairs, police have just found a body in the attic. An attic that was supposed to be empty, unused.
Right, and she's sitting there totally composed on the outside, but she knows the handcuffs are coming.
Exactly. So the immediate question isn't just who did what, but how. What kind of, intricate, terrifying game of manipulation unfolded over months in this perfect-looking mansion to lead to this exact moment?
Well, that's our mission today, isn't it? This isn't just a plot summary. We're aiming for a structural breakdown. We want to map out precisely how that initial, seemingly simple setup, desperate maid, rich but erratic boss, how that was deliberately constructed as this huge piece of misdirection.
Okay.
We're going to unpack the psychological tricks the author uses, how she gets you, the reader, pulling for one character, trusting the wrong people, basically. And then we'll look at that amazing reversal that just flips the whole narrative. Think of it as a masterclass in messing with reader expectations.
And it works so well because it leans into those classic tropes, doesn't it? The beautiful, controlling rich woman versus the poor, hardworking, underdog protagonist.
Totally. You're set up to root for the maid, Millie, against Nina, the seemingly awful wife.
So we need to dissect every clue, every little detail, every red herring that McFadden planted to build that initial, very convincing but ultimately false picture. Okay, let's unpack this.
All right, so let's rewind. 3 months before that body discovery, we meet Millie Calloway. And her situation is, let's just say precarious. That's key understanding why she walks into this situation.
Precarious, putting it mildly. She's literally homeless, living in her beat-up car, her Casa Nissan, she calls it.
Right.
She just got fired, evicted. But the real ticking clock is her past. 10 years in prison, starting when she was just 17. And she's on parole.
Very tight parole.
So if she doesn't find a stable job, a fixed address, now she's going right back. The stakes couldn't be higher for her. It's survival.
Absolutely. Which explains her whole approach to the interview with Nina Winchester. It's all about minimizing threat. She's actively trying to look, forgettable, dowdy.
Yeah, the description's great. Ill-fitting clothes from a thrift store, her hair scraped back in this severe bun, and these oversized and unnecessary tortoiseshell glasses.
It's a deliberate performance. She's trying to project serious, professional, and absolutely no competition to Nina, weaponizing blandness, basically.
And the Winchesters. They're the complete opposite, just radiating wealth, polish, control. Nina's in her late 30s, dripping in expensive, silky white clothes.
Yeah, that white clothing detail is brilliant. It screams high maintenance, untouchable, almost sterile control, doesn't it?
It really does. And Millie's hired for cleaning, some light cooking, which is weird from the start because Nina doesn't seem to work, but the house is enormous, way too big for one person.
Then there's Andrew Winchester, the husband, presented as, the dream guy, incredibly handsome, super rich businessman, apparently doubled his dad's company fortune.
And Millie immediately clocks that he's way more attractive than Nina, which she finds kind of strange.
And that seemingly small observation, it's crucial. It subtly plants the seed for the affair later on. It makes you think, well, maybe he's not happy, maybe he's settled, making Millie seem like a more, natural fit for him down the line.
Sneaky. And then there's Cecilia, the daughter, immediately pegged as a spoiled brat, always in these fancy, pale, totally impractical dresses, like a little doll accessory for the wealthy life.
Right. But amidst all this polished perfection, there's this other figure lurking, Enzo, the landscape.
Oh yeah, Enzo. Described as ruggedly handsome, muscled, tattooed, supposedly speaks almost no English, just a bit of Italian.
But he gives Millie this look, really intense, chilling, almost like a warning, and she later remembers him muttering pericolo.
Danger.
Danger. So right away, you get this hint that something's seriously wrong beneath the surface of this beautiful house and family.
And the first really concrete sign of that danger is the room Millie gets assigned. In this huge house, they stick her in this tiny, suffocating attic room, basically a closet.
Barely furnished, a cot. One tiny window looking out over a part of the yard where, as Millie notes, nobody would likely see or hear her.
And here's the kicker, the lock. It's on the outside of the door.
Bingo! That's the plot screaming at you. Millie understandably asks about it. Nina gives this flimsy excuse, oh, it used to be a closet, promises a key, but seems really reluctant to actually hand it over.
But then, when Millie's alone in the room, she finds them.
The scratch marks. Long, thin, deep scratches gouged into the inside of the door, like someone was desperately, frantically trying to claw their way out.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
Especially for Millie, right? Having done time, she knows what confinement feels like, and she's just been put in what looks disturbingly like another potential cell. It's not just a room, it's foreshadowing.
What's fascinating here is how fast that shiny veneer cracks once Millie actually starts the job. Remember how immaculate the house was for the interview?
Yeah, pristine.
The second she moves in, total disaster, garbage overflowing, pizza boxes fused together, dirty dishes piled high. It's chaos.
That contrast is so jarring. It immediately makes you think, okay, something's up with Nina. Is this a breakdown? Is she trying to overwhelm Millie?
Exactly. It points towards some kind of psychological disarray, either genuine distress or maybe, just maybe, it's a deliberate tactic to establish dominance to make Millie's life hell from day one.
And then we get the infamous peanut allergy debacle. That really seals the deal on Nina, initially anyway.
Oh yeah. Millie tries to be nice, offers little Cecilia a cracker with peanut butter. Simple gesture.
And Cecilia freaks out, claims she's deathly allergic.
Yeah.
Nina swoops in, full drama mode, accusing Millie of nearly killing her daughter, which, for someone on parole...
Terrifying. Could cost her everything, but here's the genius twist within the twist.
Right, the contradictions.
Immediate contradictions. Millie notices this huge, almost full jar of peanut butter sitting right there in the pantry. If the allergy is that deadly, why is it even in the house, let alone out in the open?
Good point.
And then later, Andrew quietly tells Millie that Cecilia has absolutely no allergies. None.
So Nina just lied.
Maliciously.
Knowingly. Actively gaslighting Millie, using fear, using lies as weapons. This moment is designed to cement Nina in our minds as the villain. Not just eccentric or troubled, but deliberately cruel.
That's chilling. It's like she's systematically testing Millie, pushing her buttons, seeing how much she'll take, and those white clothes she wears. It's like this perfect, clean facade over this incredibly messy, disturbed reality reflected in the house. We are now firmly planted in Nina is the bad guy territory. So Millie's settled in, dealing with the endless cleaning, Nina's unpredictable moods. And now the secrets start to deepen, seeming to confirm everything Millie suspects.
Right, because Millie starts digging, doesn't she? She feels unsafe, figures she needs to know what she's dealing with.
Exactly. She crosses a line, violates trust, and snoops in the master bathroom medicine cabinet. Needs must, maybe.
And what does she find?
Some pretty heavy stuff, specifically haloperidol.
Which is?
It's a potent antipsychotic used to treat serious conditions, schizophrenia, acute psychosis, bipolar disorder, stuff you don't just take lightly.
Okay, so that feels like concrete proof, right?
Yeah.
We've seen the bizarre behavior, the mess, the lies about the allergy, and now there's medication for a severe mental illness.
It definitely acts as confirmation bias for the reader, and then the gossip mill kicks in.
The PTA meeting. Always a source of intel.
Pretty much. The other school moms basically confirm the rumors. They whisper that Nina is literally crazy, that she's been institutionalized before.
And they tell Millie the really chilling story.
The story that Andrew is presumably telling everyone, that Nina allegedly drugged Cecilia, tried to drown her in the bathtub, and then attempted suicide herself. Only stopped because Andrew supposedly walked in, intervened, called the cops.
Which led to her being committed, according to the rumor.
Right. So, picture this from Millie's perspective, and ours as the reader. Nina looks dangerous, unstable, potentially violent.
Which makes Andrew look like the victim, the long-suffering husband trapped in this nightmare.
Precisely. He comes across as kind, supportive towards Millie, totally contrasting with Nina's harshness. He even shares this vulnerable moment with her.
The doctor's visit.
Yeah. He confesses his disappointment that Nina apparently can't have another child. And notice the language he uses when talking about Nina. He says, "And I loved her." Past tense.
Oof. Yeah, that's designed to pull Millie right in. Create sympathy, maybe spark something romantic.
And you have to wonder, looking back, was that genuine vulnerability? Or was it a calculated performance to draw Millie into his web, setting the stage for her to become the next target?
Given what we learn later, It feels very calculated.
It escalates quickly from there. Andrew uses these non-refundable tickets, a fancy hotel suite at the plaza originally booked for Nina.
And invites Millie instead. Broadway show, drinks.
Lots of drinks, and inevitably they sleep together. Classic thriller move.
It's this intense, maybe liberating moment for Millie, but Andrew pulls back almost immediately, doesn't he?
Instantly. This was a mistake, can't happen again, I'm married. It keeps Millie hooked, focused on him, while simultaneously ratcheting up the tension with Nina.
And that tension explodes because Millie makes a discovery.
She finds out Nina is tracking her phone using the Find My Friends app.
So Nina knew. She knew exactly where Millie and Andrew were that night in New York.
The whole time. Suddenly, the affair wasn't secret. It was observed. That changes everything for Millie. The paranoia ramps up.
And Nina starts playing her cards. Slowly at first.
Yeah, first she casually confronts Millie about the house phone. Why didn't she answer it the night of the show? Just a subtle jab, letting Millie know she knows something.
But then comes the hammer blow. At the dinner table.
This is where Nina shifts gears. It stops being just erratic behavior and becomes surgically precise cruelty. Out of absolutely nowhere, she drops the prison bombshell.
I'm sure you never got food like this in prison, did you, Millie? Just brutal.
Utterly devastating. Andrew acts horrified, playing his part, but Nina's move is strategically brilliant.
How so?
By exposing Millie's deepest shame, her criminal past, in front of Andrew, Nina completely shatters any confidence Millie gained from the affair. She reinforces Millie's biggest fear, being judged, being seen as nothing more than a convict. It instantly poisons the connection with Andrew. He now sees her as damaged goods.
Wow. Calculated character assassination.
But she's not done. The public humiliation needs an encore.
The grocery store incident.
Right. Nina phone security, reports Millie for shoplifting, forces this incredibly public, degrading search of Millie's shopping cart, threatens to call her parole officer.
At this point, Millie must be thinking Nina is actively trying to destroy her life, right? Get her fired, maybe even arrested. But the motive still seems like just crazy jealousy over Andrew.
That's exactly what Millie and the reader are led to believe. She feels trapped between this manic, vengeful wife and the handsome, potentially sympathetic, but now distant husband.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Because the entire camera lens flips. Everything we've just spent pages accepting about Nina's instability, it gets violently, completely turned on its head.
This is the big twist, part 2. The author just yanks the rug out.
Completely. The narrative jumps back in time, shifts perspective entirely to Nina, and we learn the horrific truth. Andrew Winchester, he's the monster, the sadist. Nina has been the victim, trapped in his abuse all along.
Wait, so all those things we saw, the messiness, the mood swings, the white clothes, the isolation,
all recontextualized. They were either desperate cries for help that were ignored, direct trauma responses to his abuse, or sometimes actual performances Andrew forced her to maintain to make her look unstable.
That's a huge risk for an author, isn't it? To basically say, everything I just showed you, interpret it the exact opposite way now. Does it feel like a cheap trick, or does it actually work?
It's definitely risky, but in this genre, when done well, like here, it's incredibly effective. It works because the clues were there all along, but we, the readers, were manipulated into interpreting them through the lens Andrew wanted.
Like the messy house.
Exactly. It wasn't Nina being lazy or having a breakdown in the way we thought. It was likely her inability to function under extreme psychological distress, maybe even defiance, or simply the result of being confined and controlled. And that attic room...
The lock on the outside and the scratches.
That wasn't for Millie. That was Nina's prison. Andrew started locking her in there shortly after they got married, often for the flimsiest reasons, like missing a hair appointment he insisted she keep. It was about total control.
He's revealed as this systematic, calculating abuser. Can we talk more about the specific torture? Because the book details some truly awful stuff he did in that attic. It wasn't just locking her in.
No, not at all. His specialty was psychological cruelty. Utterly dehumanizing acts designed to break her spirit. Remember the hair pulling?
Vaguely.
Remind me. He forced her, as a condition for release sometimes, to pull out 100 intact strands of her own hair, roots still attached, to prove, in his twisted logic, that she didn't care about him or her appearance anymore.
Oh my God, that's monstrous. It's attacking her identity, her sanity, demanding physical proof of emotional surrender.
He needed her complete compliance, her brokenness, not just her silence.
It makes you rethink everything. All those behaviors Millie saw as crazy were probably trauma responses. defenses.
Absolutely. And the sensory torture, too. He'd force her to choose between unbearable extremes, hours of blindingly bright light, or complete, terrifying, pitch-black darkness.
Classic psychological warfare. Robbing her of any agency, any control over her basic environment, accelerating that mental breakdown he wanted everyone to see.
And the most brutal part? That story about her trying to drown Cecilia.
The one the PTA moms gossiped about.
Andrew staged the entire thing. He drugged both Nina and Cecilia, put Cecilia in the filling bathtub himself, made it look exactly like Nina had snapped attempted murder-suicide.
He framed her for trying to kill their daughter.
Perfectly. Which gave him the proof he needed, the medical justification, the legal framework, to have her committed to Clearview Psychiatric Hospital for 8 months.
He weaponized the entire system against her, destroyed her credibility completely.
So when she got out, she was trapped, under constant watch, Andrew or his mother, Evelyn. If Nina ever tried to tell a friend, like Suzanne, what was really happening, Andrew had already poisoned the well, convincing them Nina was delusional, paranoid.
Let's talk about Evelyn, the mother. She wasn't just oblivious, was she? She seemed involved.
Deeply, disturbingly involved. She subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, reinforces Andrew's control. Nina mentions Evelyn criticizing her for wasting electricity.
Which sounds minor, but
It connects directly back to Andrew's light versus darkness torture game in the attic. Evelyn knew. She was complicit, reinforcing the rules of his abuse.
it points to something deeper, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, Andrew's behavior didn't come out of nowhere.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Evelyn is absolutely the root. It's revealed later, maybe we'll get to the wake scene, but Evelyn admits she used to discipline young Andrew by pulling out his baby teeth with pliers.
What? For what?
For poor dental hygiene, supposedly. It's horrifying. It shows this clear line of generational abuse, control through physical pain and psychological terror. Andrew just learned from his mother and applied it, maybe even refined it, against Nina.
So Andrew had everything locked down. Nina was tracked physically, psychologically, and her reputation was ruined.
And he even planned for his own death. He told Nina flat out he'd written a letter ready to be sent to the police the moment he died, detailing all her supposed instability, her threats against him, making sure if anything ever happened to him, she'd be the #1 suspect, a perfect trap.
She couldn't just leave. She couldn't just kill him. Either way, she'd likely end up back in an institution or prison, thanks to his planning.
Exactly. She needed a way out, a foolproof plan that would eliminate Andrew and protect her from the narrative he'd already built.
And this is where Enzo comes back in, right? The quiet landscaper.
Yes. Nina discovers he actually speaks perfect English, just with a subtle accent. He confesses that his warning, Pericolo, was real. He'd been watching.
Why? What's his story?
It's intensely personal. His sister, Antonia, was murdered years ago by a rich, powerful man, and the family got no justice. Nothing happened to him. So Enzo has this deep-seated need for vengeance against men like Andrew, men who abuse their power.
He understands Nina's situation then.
Completely. He urges her to run, but Nina explains about the letter, her psychiatric history, how Andrew has made escape impossible. So Enzo agrees to help. Plan B, killing Andrew, seems like the only option, but Nina knows she can't be the one to do it without getting caught. She needs someone else.
An instrument, a weapon.
Precisely. Which leads us to the absolute genius, the chilling brilliance of Nina's real plan. She didn't just hire Millie because she needed a maid.
She hired her to be the killer.
She hired her specifically to kill Andrew. She needed a very particular kind of asset.
What were the criteria?
Nina ran a deep background check. She needed someone desperate, yes. Someone beautiful enough to attract Andrew, definitely. But the crucial element, Millie had to be capable of lethal violence.
And she found
Millie's juvenile record, convicted of manslaughter. At 16, in boarding school, Millie defended a friend who was being assaulted by this huge 200-pound football player. She smashed his skull with a heavy paperweight.
Wow. So Nina knew Millie had that capacity, that switch she could flip when cornered, especially by an aggressive man trying to control her physically.
Nini knew exactly what she was getting, and her preparation was meticulous. She was counting on Andrew being predictably sadistic.
So she sets the trap, makes sure Millie is desperate, attractive, and a proven killer. Then what?
Then she systematically makes Millie hate her. All that erratic behavior, the mess, the accusations, acting like a jealous shrew, it was all calculated to push Millie away from her and towards the seemingly kind, sympathetic Andrew,
Facilitating the affair.
ensuring the affair happened, creating the perfect storm of tension, betrayal, and justification for Andrew's inevitable need to punish Millie, to reassert his control.
And she planted the tools.
The escape hatch, the pepper spray, the key to the attic room, left discreetly in that blue bucket in the laundry room. Nina knew Andrew's patterns. She knew his ego and control issues would eventually lead him to use the attic, his special place on Millie, just like he used it on her.
And the trap works perfectly. After Andrew gets back from his trip, feeling betrayed or maybe just needing to exert power,
He lures Millie into the attic, locks her in, his predictable move.
and the torture starts again, mirroring what he did to Nina.
Exactly. It's not just confinement. He makes her hold these heavy, painful books on her stomach, watches her suffer on a hidden camera he installed, preventing her from resting, breaking her down. Same methods, different victim.
But this victim has resources Nina didn't. The ones Nina provided.
Right. After hours of fear and pacing, Millie remembers the blue bucket, finds the pepper spray, uses it on Andrew when he opens the door.
And in that moment, something shifts in Millie too, doesn't it?
Her own history clicks in. The book mentions her recalling the feeling almost satisfying of hitting her friend's attacker with the paperweight. That survival instinct, that capacity for violence resurfaces, and she doesn't just run.
She turns the tables.
She locks Andrew in the attic, takes his phone, mirrors his own actions back onto him, but this time, it's fatal.
His body isn't found for days. Cause of death, dehydration.
But the details are horrific. Severe bruising on his lower abdomen and genitals. And 4 missing teeth.
He pulled out his own teeth.
It seems so. Forced into some impossible, agonizing punishment game by his confinement and dehydration-induced delirium, he died in his own torture chamber, a victim of the very control he inflicted, driven mad by it. The ultimate poetic justice, maybe.
So the police arrive, and Nina steps right into the role she planned.
The grieving, confused widow, ready to take the heat, shield Millie. She tells the police she gave Millie the week off, that she herself was conveniently away at camp with Cecilia, setting herself up as the only plausible suspect, just as Andrew intended, but now using it to her advantage.
But there's another twist with the investigation, isn't there? Detective Connors.
Yes, the detective from the prologue. It turns out he has a personal stake in this. His own daughter, Kathleen Connors, was Andrew's fiancée before Nina, and Andrew apparently damaged her severely.
So Connors already suspected Andrew wasn't the perfect gentleman.
He was deeply suspicious of the Winchesters, their power, how easily the previous police report about the alleged drowning incident seemed to blame Nina. His personal connection makes him dig deeper, questioning the official narrative Andrew built.
Which helps Nina's case, ironically. It adds weight to the idea that Andrew might have been the unstable one all along.
Exactly. And then comes the final, horrifying confirmation of Andrew's twisted nature and where it came from.
From his own mother, Evelyn, at the wake.
Unbelievable scene. Evelyn pulls Nina aside and calmly admits she used to pull out Andrew's baby teeth with pliers as discipline.
For bad brushing.
Yes. And then she says she's actually glad Nina, or someone, finally stepped up and taught Andrew a lesson. She essentially confirms his sadism was learned behavior instilled by her own monstrous parenting. She's almost proud he finally got his comeuppance.
That's beyond words. So, with Connors suspicious in this bizarre background, what did the police conclude?
They rule Andrew's death accidental. Self-inflicted injuries and dehydration due to stress and confinement. The story holds just enough water, especially with Andrew's history being subtly questioned now. Nina walks free.
Protected by the very crazy label Andrew slapped on her. The plan worked.
Perfectly. The epilogue shows Nina and Cecilia moving to California, safe, financially secure thanks to Andrew's money. His death is officially an accident.
And Millie?
Nina took care of her, left a huge deposit in her account, a year's salary. And Millie gets that cryptic text, "Thank you for this," acknowledging the lethal service rendered.
But it doesn't end there for Millie, does it? The final scene.
Chilling final scene. Millie, flush with cash and now with a glowing recommendation from Nina Winchester, interviews for a new housemaid job. The woman, Lisa Killiford.
She mentions Nina recommended her, and then adds something else.
Adds that her own husband can be controlling, and that she might need Millie's specific kind of help someday.
And Millie takes the job.
She accepts, knowing full well what's being implied. She's not being hired to dust. She's being hired for her potential lethality as a solution for women trapped with dangerous men. Nina hasn't just freed herself, she's potentially set Mellie on a new, very dark career path.
So what does this all mean when you step back from the twists and turns?
Well, the psychological depth is really something. The housemaid executes this brilliant reversal. The character you're conditioned to see as the fragile, unstable victim, Nina, turns out to be the mastermind. She orchestrates this incredibly complex, deadly escape plan.
And she weaponizes everything. Her own trauma, Andrew's predictable cruelty, even Millie's violent past.
Exactly. Knowledge is power, right? Nina won because she intimately understood her enemy. She knew Andrew's sadistic patterns, his need for control, his specific methods of torture. And she knew Millie's hidden capacity for violence. That knowledge was her strategic advantage.
She used the blueprint of her own prison to build his tomb, essentially.
That's a great way to put it. She took everything Andrew used against her, her supposed instability, his control tactics, and flipped them. Used them to ensure not just his death, but her own complete protection from any consequences. It's masterful manipulation born of desperation.
Which leads us to a final, maybe unsettling thought for you, the listener, to chew on. If Nina's original diagnosis, her craziness, was entirely fabricated by Andrew, but she then successfully uses that very label, that history, to manipulate the situation and escape justice for orchestrating his death, has she truly found freedom? Or has Andrew's abuse fundamentally changed her, shaping her into someone who now has to use deceit and manipulation, even lethal manipulation, just to survive and maintain that freedom? Is her new identity permanently defined by his abuse?